Read of ghosting? Try clear coding your love life. Have you ever been talking to someone? Everything feels exciting. The conversations are deep, the chemistry is there, and you start imagining where things could go. Then suddenly, silence. No explanation. No closure. No goodbye. Just gone. And the worst part? You keep checking your phone wondering what happened. You replay conversations in your head. You question yourself, did I say something wrong? Were they ever serious? Was any of it real? That's not just frustrating, it actually affects your brain. Psychologists have found that social rejection activates some of the same brain regions associated with physical pain. In other words, ghosting doesn't just hurt emotionally, it can feel like an actual injury to your nervous system. And in today's dating culture, this experience has become incredibly common. So maybe the problem isn't only bad people. Maybe the problem is how modern dating communication works. Today, we're talking about a growing relationship trend that's pushing back against confusion, mixed signals, and emotional games. Clear coding dating. Part 1. Why modern dating feels exhausting. Let's be honest. Modern dating is emotionally exhausting. Not because people don't want love, but because communication has become vague. People say things like, let's see where it goes, I'm not ready right now, I like you, but I'm just going with the flow. And sometimes those phrases mean, I want attention, not commitment. I like you temporarily, I want the benefits without responsibility. The problem is that nobody says that part clearly. This creates what psychologists call cognitive dissonance, a mental state where your brain struggles to make sense of conflicting information. Psychologist Festinger explained that when our experiences and beliefs don't match, the brain experiences psychological discomfort. So when someone texts you every day, acts emotionally invested, talks about the future, but avoids defining the relationship, your brain starts working overtime trying to solve the contradiction. What is really going on? Do they want me or not? That constant uncertainty drains emotional energy. And over time, it creates dating fatigue. Part 2, the rise of ghostlighting. And now there's an even more confusing trend, ghostlighting. Ghostlighting happens when someone shows strong interest, disappears without explanation, comes back acting normal, then disappears again. It creates emotional instability. One moment you feel chosen. The next moment you feel abandoned. And strangely, that inconsistency can make people even more attached. Why? Because your brain becomes addicted to uncertainty. Research in behavioral psychology shows that unpredictable rewards are one of the strongest ways to condition human behavior. This is called intermittent reinforcement. It's actually the same psychological principle used in gambling machines. You never know when the reward is coming. So your brain keeps chasing it. So when someone gives attention, withdraws attention, returns with affection, then disappears again, your nervous system starts craving the emotional reward. That's not healthy attachment. That's conditioning. And many people mistake that emotional roller coaster for passion or chemistry. Part 3, what is clear coding dating? Now here's where things begin to change. A new dating approach is emerging online and in relationship conversations, clear coding dating. Clear coding means being upfront about intentions, saying what you actually want, removing unnecessary ambiguity, communicating honestly early on instead of saying, I'm just going with the flow. You say, I'm looking for a serious relationship. Or, I'm not looking for anything long-term right now. Simple. Clear. Honest. No Part 4, the psychology behind clarity. Why does this work so well? Because the human brain craves certainty. Psychologist Abraham Maslow placed safety and stability among the most fundamental human needs. And emotional uncertainty threatens that sense of safety. When intentions are unclear, anxiety increases, trust decreases, overthinking begins, emotional stress builds, your mind becomes hyper alert, constantly trying to predict the other person's behavior. But when communication is clear, the brain relaxes, decision-making improves, emotional energy is preserved, trust develops more naturally, clarity removes confusion before confusion becomes emotional damage. And honestly, that level of emotional maturity is rare today. Part 5, why people are switching to this trend. People are tired. Not just tired of dating, but tired of emotional burnout. They're tired of decoding mixed signals, waiting hours for replies, wondering where they stand, investing emotions into uncertainty, because nothing drains a person faster than inconsistency. You spend weeks, or months, building emotional attachment, only to realize you and the other person were never on the same page. That realization hurts. Clear coding solves this by asking one important question early: what are we doing here? And that single question can save time, emotional investment, mental stress, false expectations. It may feel uncomfortable at first, but clarity prevents deeper pain later. Because sometimes a difficult truth is healthier than comforting confusion. Part 6, the big fear. Won't I scare people away? Let's address the fear. Many people think, if I say what I want too early, I'll scare them away. But here's the truth: you're not scaring away the right person, you're filtering out the wrong one. The psychologist Carl Rogers emphasized the importance of authenticity in relationships. He believed that real connection only happens when people are genuine and transparent. So, if someone leaves because you were clear, they were never aligned with you in the first place. Part 7, clear coding versus traditional dating. Let's compare. Traditional dating, vague intentions, mixed signals, emotional guessing. Clear coding dating, direct communication, defined expectations, emotional clarity. One creates confusion, the other creates alignment. Part 8, what science says about honest communication. Research in relationship psychology consistently shows that clear communication increases relationship satisfaction. Uncertainty increases anxiety and dissatisfaction. The work of John Gottman highlights that successful relationships are built on clear emotional communication and mutual understanding. When people understand each other's expectations, conflict reduces, trust increases, and emotional safety grows. Part 9, how to practice clear coding. So how do you actually do this? It's not about being aggressive or robotic. It's about being intentional and honest. Here are simple examples. Instead of, I'm just seeing what happens, say, I'm open to something serious if we connect. Instead of, I don't know what I want, say, I'm still figuring things out, so I'm not ready for commitment. That level of clarity respects you, respects the other person. Part 10, the deeper truth. Here's something most people don't realize: confusion in dating is not accidental, it's often avoidance. People avoid clarity because they fear rejection. They want options. They don't want responsibility, but clarity requires confidence, self-awareness, and emotional maturity. That's why clear coding is not just a trend. It's a shift in mindset. Heading to the end, if you're tired of being confused, being ghosted, and overthinking every message, maybe it's time to try something different. Say what you want. Ask what they want. And don't settle for ambiguity. Because the right connection doesn't need guessing. It needs clarity. If this made you think differently about dating, hit like, subscribe, and share this with someone tired of mixed signals. And tell me in the comments, would you try clear coding in your dating life?